Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of the Rock and Roll Geezers Show. I am your host, Murph. Glad to see you. And as always, I'd like to say welcome to our co host, the Electric Boogaloo, Doc Vox. What's
All
going on,
right.
Doc?
I love the new nickname. All right, I'll take it.
Sure.
Doing very well, man.
Yeah.
Great rock and roll filled week. Lots to talk about.
Absolutely. You know, we had the inductions come in from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame last week.
Yeah,
So
we sure did.
well,
Always lots to talk about with those.
Oh, geez.
There's always a snub. There's always somebody that shouldn't have went in. There's always lots to talk about. So we'll get into that and
Absolutely.
would love to get your opinions on it as well. Put them in the comments, and I'm sure everybody has opinions on that. So
Oh yeah. A lot of them are nasty, but we understand that. So right out the bat. So who took the top?
all right, well, the inductees for 2022 are Pat Benatar,
Oh yeah.
Duran,
Mm-hmm.
Eminem,
Oh yeah.
Eurythmics,
Ah, smooth.
Dolly Parton,
Dolly.
Lionel Richie,
Lionel.
Carly Simon.
Ah, Carly. Ooh, let's see that.
And those are your seven in the performer category.
Mm-hmm.
Then they have the category what they call musical excellence, and we'll get into more. We'll break this down, but for musical excellence, Judas Priest
Judas Priest.
finally got in. Kind of feel it's kind of a backdoor way to kind of get in, and we'll get a little more into that. But also in the Ahmet Erdogan category, which is for executives. It used to be called the non-performer category, and then they named it after the Atlantic executive Ahmet Erdogan.
Right.
So we have Alan Grubman, Jimmy Iovine, and Sylvia Robinson. I'm not too familiar with any of those other than Jimmy Iovine. I know he's done he's produced a lot of stuff. Tom Petty. I can't even think. Van Halen, I think he worked with at one point. So
obviously he has a pedigree because he's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So
he's been around.
Yeah.
And then they have the early influences category, and Elizabeth Cotton, who is I assume is kind of an old gospel artist, and Harry Belafonte.
Harry.
Who we all know from the Banana Boat song. So
yeah, man.
Not sure how much of an influence he really is, but he's in the Hall of Fame.
There you go. All right.
So first thing that pops out to me on this is Judas Priest, and long overdue, but they are not going in the performers category, which is kind of that's what you want. That's the ultimate.
Right.
So they're going in under the category of musical excellence.
Oh boy.
A little bit of history on this category. It started off, it was called the Sideman category.
Yeah.
And it was basically for, I know some of the early inductees were like Scotty Moore and DJ Fontana.
Okay.
Who were members of Elvis's band.
Sure.
So, right. So you can kind of see where obviously they're not going to get on their own, but they were a very important part. So they created this category for the Sidemen. That's what it was originally called.
Wow. Boy, they sort of ran off course on this one then, eh?
Yes,
wow.
Very much so. Well, it became musical excellence. And I'm pretty sure I wouldn't bet the house on it. But I think it started about the time they got Ringo Starr in as a solo act. And it kind of became a category. And then that's when they changed it to musical excellence, which in my mind, everybody in the Hall of Fame is in there for musical excellence. And so it's kind of a bullshit category.
Right.
They just kind of created it to get people in on the back door, kind of. Like I said, they got Ringo in, which, he's already in with the Beatles, obviously. But, Ringo gets a pass, I guess. He's Ringo, man.
Got to give it to him.
But
sure.
That's how LL Cool J got in that way, which, musical excellence, I guess if you want to call it that, but whatever.
Yeah.
The only one recently that I see fit was last year. Randy Rhoads got in under this category.
Now there you go. Well, there's one who deserved it.
Exactly. That's exactly what that category is for.
There's your sideman category guy right there. Jeez.
Exactly.
Legendary.
Exactly.
Legendary. Well, why don't we go back up to the top and take this?
Let me finish up the thought on
sure.
To finish up the thought on Judas Priest.
Okay.
They're the first band to be let in under this category.
Wow.
So I kind of feel like it's kind of a backdoor kind of. We gotta get the metalheads off our
they're
ass
sucking up to the metalheads is what they're doing.
Yeah. And last year was Randy Rhoads, right? They're kind of trying to catch up a little bit, and the Hall is not fond of metal. We all know this.
Well, they're fond of Jethro Tull, who got the metal award one year ahead of Metallica.
Well, that's the Grammys. That's the Grammys.
Oh, that was the Grammys.
Right. That's the Grammys.
What the hell? Okay.
Yeah. Jethro Tull's not in the Hall of Fame.
Take another hit, Murph. Okay.
But
nonetheless, nobody respects metal. None of these organizations respect metal. My gosh. It's just crazy. So at least they got in, but boy, what a backdoor way. That just it's just not right. I mean, boy, talk about a two guitar metal attack. And just I know they're not as good as the Eurythmics or Lionel Richie, and the fact that Dolly, God bless her, they might have been in the top 5 had Dolly not come back in. I'm not sure. I'd have to check the numbers on that. See what's up.
Let's see. I got that right here, and it would have been. You are correct. Dolly Parton was 5, and Priest was 6. So
I'll be darned.
They would have been in the top 5.
And I would be mad. I can't be mad at Dolly. I'm sorry. I would be because
she tried to buy out. She tried to say, "I'm not."
Why did she come back in though? Why did she come back?
I'm sure Jan Winter or whoever the powers to be kind of pushed her into that. And hey, look, I'm sure at that point they knew she was getting in. They knew that they'd already done their committee had already voted and. Hey, we got Dolly getting in, but she doesn't want in. So what are we gonna do? So I'm sure somebody pressure some kind of.
Well, boy. Well, I'm glad she's in a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but she pushed out a true hard rock band. So it stinks. They're in, but in any case, so that should be an interesting award ceremony for once. I'll probably watch it because they'll be getting back with KK Downing. And it sounds like they're all pretty excited, last week or whatever, KK's like, it'll probably be okay. And they must have talked or something because this week they're all saying, oh, yeah, we're going to get down. KK's only concern is what Glenn Tipton's going to be able to do. He only does a couple of songs every night. The encores.
They kind of wheel him out for the encores a little bit.
The real easy songs, Metal Gods, which I've done that in a band. It's super easy, and I think Breaking the Law they do with him because another easy song.
Yeah, but, I'm sure they can play those.
So they'll hopefully they'll do that. And for gosh sakes, get back together, guys. Enough of this garbage. You're old men now. Get back together, do another great tour of the original lineup.
It's been known to happen. People get back together to Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and end up doing a tour. The Police did it. There's a couple others don't come to mind right now, but it's been known to happen.
Well, they need to, and KK just got to suck it up. He wrote two resignation letters. One was real nice when he left the band, and the other one was a little bitter. And so he just needs to suck it up and say, this is the best thing in my life ever. And time to get back to, boy, that would be classic.
He's touring with the KK Downing version of Judas Priest.
Right, KK's Priest.
With Tim Ripper Owens and who will not be among those getting in. They'll have 7 members of Priest going in. Tim Ripper Owens will not be one, deservedly not.
I'm glad to see Les Banks. I'm glad to see Les Banks, man. The albums he played on were just killer. Yeah. Man. So good for the Priest, but it's a sort of a
they seem really happy to be in, and they're not even I haven't even seen them comment on the fact that it's in a kind of a backdoor category.
They're just glad to be in.
They're just glad to be in.
I'm glad for them. Yeah, yeah. I think the bass player is the only original member of that band, quite honestly. Or he's the founder, actually. And what an easy gig he's always had all these years, just sitting back by the amps, just plucking away on the bass with,
Right.
just nothing really super hard, except for the early stuff. They could have gotten in on the early stuff, for crying out loud. But so be it, or they'll be
No, great for them, and maybe this will open the door, and we'll get Maiden in and Motorhead, and
Well, yeah, it's about time for sure.
the metal bands will start receiving some recognition, some long-deserved recognition. So
Excellent.
Let's see on the other side of that. Oh, the big votes here, Duran. So a lot of these acts that got in, this is their first time on the ballot. Pat Benatar's been on a few times, at least twice I know of, 3 times I believe. So she's finally getting the nod, well deserved. I know this is Eminem's first year of eligibility. So that kind of seemed like a foregone conclusion almost.
Yeah, he was he's rather unique. Yeah, in terms of rap, he really something else.
And then there's always, should rap be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and what is rock and roll? And I'm among the school of thought that it's just different branches from the same tree. And there are definitely acts that I don't feel should be in there that aren't rock and roll. I love Dolly, but Dolly shouldn't be in there. She's in the Country Hall of Fame.
Absolutely, she shouldn't be.
There's a Country Hall of Fame, and that's good enough for her. It should be good enough for everybody else. I mean, that's
you got to just change it to the Music Hall of Fame. Really, they got to start a new Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which is truly geared to rock and roll.
Well, I can understand. I mean, there's several rock and roll acts that have been influenced by other genres, and to have those acts represented, I can understand. But as an early influence, or something along those lines, but as a performer, a rock and roll performer, no, Dolly, I'm sorry. She's a great songwriter, fabulous songwriter, great performer, been around doing it forever. I mean, she's a pro. She's the
best ever, but she's a country singer.
Country artist.
Well, I don't know. I think it'd be a good move to have Judas Priest inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame. I think that would work out just fine. Hey, why not? Why the heck not?
Yeah.
If you're going to do all this jerk shit, pardon my French, if you're going to do all this, really, let's get Judas Priest in the Country Hall of Fame.
Where are the boundaries at? Exactly.
yeah. Oh, brother.
Yeah, where are the boundaries?
Oh, hey, Pat Benatar. How about her? How about Pat?
Pat, to me, Pat, for a lot of years in the early 80s, she was the female rock artist. She was it.
Oh, boy. Did a lot of her songs. I was in a couple of bands that had female singers, and we played a lot of their songs. And boy, they were great. She was such a fixture, not only on MTV, but just on the radio in general back in 70s, 80s, 70s mostly.
Yeah, I think Heartbreaker come out in 79, so into the early 80s.
She was so hot.
I think it's really cool. Neil Giraldo was going in with her husband. I mean, they were partners all along.
Absolutely.
Obviously, her name was on the marquee, but they were definitely a team. And glad to see him going in that way. I got a chance to see Pat and Neil just a few years back in front row center. It was awesome. Great show.
Boy.
She's just one of those. She's got it. She'll never lose it. It's there.
Yeah.
She's just got it.
Well, she studied opera singing when she was young, so I'm not surprised.
Right. She's
still got it.
Trained
she's gonna hang in there. Yeah.
Yeah, she's all of 4'11", I think, or something. She's very, very tiny.
And boy, a hell of a voice. So it's good. I'm glad to see that. There's a good rock and roll band right there. Really good songs.
Yeah.
Jeez. Excellent. Coming up, and then of course Duran next. Of course, we talked about
them. They were the number one vote getters.
Huh?
This is the first year that they came up.
I'll be darned. That's
seems to happen a lot recently.
That's pretty good for
well, they've been eligible for quite a few years, but it's the first year they actually got on the ballot. Okay. And that seems to happen a lot. A lot of these bands that have kind of, I don't know, for whatever reason, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame picks who they want to put on. I'm not sure of that whole process, but
right.
Obviously the fans want them, and
sure.
So as soon as they went on, that happened with Rush. As soon as Rush got on the ballot, boom, they were in.
Wow,
it's just a matter of getting some of these bands on the ballot and letting the voting take its course. The fan voting, by the way, means next to nothing.
Absolutely. Didn't you say something like it's like worth one vote
Right.
You know,
Out of the committee, I don't know how many members they have on a committee, a couple hundred, I'm guessing.
Right.
And the fans vote comes out to be one vote. So
yeah.
it's fun to do. It's fun to watch it and see what the popular vote is and get an idea what the people want. But as far as any merit as to who gets in, although I must say, since they started doing it in 2013, almost everybody that's won the fan vote has gotten in, with the exception in 2020 of Dave Matthews Band.
He didn't get in,
which is puzzling to me. He's not even on a ballot anymore. You know, this is a band that won the fan vote on their first year of eligibility, and then they haven't been on the ballot since. And they're the only band that's happened to. So
probably because of the bus incident. They were so disgusted with the bus incident. Let me explain. Let me explain real quickly to the folks who don't know. They were in Chicago on their tour bus going over one of the bridges, and the driver released the what do you call it? The
contents of the septic tank.
Toilet reservoir into the river, but underneath there was a tour boat going on the river, and all that fell onto the tour people on the boat from the bus.
It was like 20 pounds of
fecal matter.
Dave Matthews Band fecal matter.
Gosh, yeah,
that's Randy Dave Matthews Band crap.
That could be it though. That could be why. But nonetheless, back to Duran Duran. 80s, I always told you they were so hot in the 80s. They had some great songs. You know, they had the look, the 80s look, that style going.
Oh, they were handpicked for MTV. They hit at the right time when
MTV
was starting. They had the videos, they had the look, they had the songs.
Mm-hmm.
All the girls were crazy about them.
Oh, yeah. Great songs. Great songs. So I'm glad to see that. Good for them, man. I feel that's well deserved as far as I'm concerned. So right on Duran Duran, Simon Le Bon. And of course, next on the list, of course, again, Eminem, the legendary Eminem. Yeah, he is a bit rock. Conclusion. He I can see him. He's a rock and roll rapper. I can see this, and just really groundbreaking for a white guy to come in and just destroy the rap scene, basically, because he took it over. Boom.
He did.
Bam. It's just amazing. Here's this white guy, just normal guy, and he just wiped out the rap scene. All it takes is talent.
They capitalized at the right moment. He had the movie 8 Mile came out just when he was red hot.
That was a great movie. I love that.
That was a great movie. It was a great soundtrack, and it just piled on to what he was doing. And he's cooled off in recent years, and then obviously that always happens.
Yeah.
He definitely
I think he's got less radical. He's got, I know he's got a grown daughter. She was in college. She's probably graduated now and moving on. So, he's going to be a grandpa one of these days, I'm sure. So, life mellows you out. But boy, the wicked lyrics he wrote, she's just great. So, good to see him.
Just the rhyme schemes that he came up with.
Exactly.
That's what everybody's using now. It came from him. So,
man, oh man, just
well deserved.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Mathers.
Next in line, the Eurythmics. Yeah, okay. I'm sort of surprised they're out, but what do I know about the?
I think this is probably the surprise. Well, I think there's a couple of them, but this is definitely one of the surprises. I think.
Yeah, that's out of left field.
I almost think it's more of a Annie Lennox vote, just because she's, even with her solo career, and maybe this is a nod, just and Dave Stewart's done some really good work with other people as well. So,
right. Yes. But yeah, she once again another big fixture of the '80s, all over MTV, and more great songs. So yeah, I guess I can see it.
My theory on that is I feel that they've kind of for lack of a better term, I guess, scraped the bottom of the barrel on the 70s artists, and now they're getting to those 80s artists that they've overlooked.
Could very well be
several 70s artists that don't deserve to be in still, and maybe we'll get to that a little bit. But I think now they've kind of moved on to the next decade, starting to get some of these 80s artists.
Well, yeah, and they're due. There's plenty of good ones. My gosh, they haven't even touched the barrel on that. Well, heck, when do they go into the 90s? Boy, that's got to be coming. How long? I don't even know how long before you can be nominated to the Hall of Fame.
It's 25 years from your first record.
25 years, okay.
From when you made your first record, 25 years.
Yeah, so they'll be dipping into the.
And there's been several 90s acts. I think there's the ones that are kind of, like I said, like Eminem. Once their first year eligibility, that they'll get in the Nirvanas and Foo Fighters just recently got in, and Green Day was in on their first year. So some of those bands. But yeah, I think definitely they'll start to catch up on some of the 90s bands, and hopefully Soundgarden will be one of those.
Well, they have to be. They have to be.
Yeah.
Boy, that great, that grunge movement. But it's just, yeah, that's got to be definitely represented big time. But I'm still ticked off at the lack of they're going for everything but metal bands.
Well, it almost seems like maybe they're trying to make an effort to catch up with the juice. But it's almost like they're doing the right thing in the wrong way.
For the wrong,
or
reason.
Or trying to they're doing the wrong thing for the right reasons, or how we want to put it. But
yeah. Oh boy. Well, they're trying, I guess. So we'll leave it at that. Okay. Thank you, Eurythmics, and of course we got Dolly. She's next on the list. She beat out Judas Priest, but. Okay, we'll leave it go, Dad. I can't holler at Dolly. There's just no way.
Yeah.
Anybody else in the world? Any other female singer? I'd be just unbelievably ticked, but can't be mad at this. She's done so much good. She's still doing good. I mean, she's just monster entertainer. So, like I say though, it's time to get Judas Priest in the Country Music Hall of Fame.
There you go.
Let's see about that. Number 5. Yeah. Oh, Lionel Richie. Yeehaw!
Only thing I can say about this exactly. I think maybe the Commodores should have went in. I think with him going as a solo artist, I think that pretty much knocks out any chance of the Commodores going in.
I don't know. Well, we'll see.
Maybe not. But
you're right though. His solo stuff really that really took off. He had some great songs that they're played at weddings now and stuff, and just some really great music. So. But again, he's not rock and roll. But what do you do?
Well, R&B. I will take. I mean, rock and roll came from R&B. So I mean,
right?
And I'm fine with that. But he's even more pop though too. So
yeah, pop. Yeah, he pops. So that's close enough, I imagined. Oh, Carly Simon. Boy, oh boy.
This is the one I would disagree with the most.
Yeah.
I really don't see her going in again. Maybe it's the last of the 70s artists that they're letting in, but
in the 70s, she was all over the radio again, with a lot of songs
for a short time though. Just the early 70s, and then she had a few sporadic, even in the 80s. I think.
Quite honestly, yeah, because you really haven't heard from her in like 40 years. So you're sort of right about that. Yeah. But I have
a hard time with this. She may be riding the James Taylor coattails a little bit. I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah, well, that duel with Jagger. That duel with Jagger. Jagger called him up and said, "We want her in. We want her in now." So they had to let her in. What is it? You're So Vain, with Jagger. Okay. Well, shame on, another non-rocker basically. Although You're So Vain, I guess you could call it rock. So there you go. Now Harry, I don't know why Harry's in, but more power to him. But he didn't have that, I don't recall a lot of hits besides the Banana song, quite honestly.
The Banana Boat song, that's it.
Wow. So what category was he in? Do you remember?
That's the early influences.
Well, maybe so. No. Maybe so. Gosh, I don't know. What are they doing?
I would put in there. Just off the top of my head, I would put in John Coltrane as an early influence before I put in Harry Belafonte. But it's just me.
Yeah. John Coltrane. Yeah. Oh, and then of course another early influencer here.
Yeah, don't really know anything about her. Gospel guitarist. Seems like maybe a lot like Sister Rosetta Tharpe.
I was just gonna mention that. Boy, these gospel ladies, they were they were at the forefront of everything. Jiminy Cooper. I actually saw a picture today. It was actually Sister from 1970, Sister Rosetta Tharpe playing with Frank Zappa.
Wow!
It was an actual in 1970. They were playing at some benefit or something together. Frank Zappa and
had to be outside the country. Rosetta. I bet it was in Europe.
I'll try and find it, and I'll put it up. I'll put it up on the next show because that was crazy. I had no idea, but boy, talk about the respect. And then of course here we go, Jimmy Jam,
Terry Lewis, producers. Late 80s, a lot of stuff with Janet Jackson.
Oh yeah, geez, right.
I don't know. They were big hit makers, and they were kind of the go-to guys for a little while. But
Haven't
Yeah,
heard
I don't
much.
know. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, what? I like the Blues Brothers look. I'll say that. That's a good look. But like you say, man, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And of course, our buddy Judas, they should be in there, but and the performer, but at least they got in, whatever.
Yeah.
And then producers and whatnot, Alan Grubman. And,
I don't know anything of the other two.
Tony Lovine and
Jimmy Iovine.
That's okay. Iovine. And this lady,
Sylvia Robinson.
Yeah.
Sylvia Robinson. Yeah. She was an executive of record company. I'm not even sure, but well, good for all those. And
yeah.
I like to look at the ones that didn't make it. There were several on this year's ballot that were multiple nominees that have been up for 2 or 3 times that did not make it. Devo, one of those bands.
I wouldn't mind seeing them. They had a unique quirk. And
they're a one-of-a-kind band for sure.
Exactly.
And they've been around a long time.
That's why they should be getting in, because they are so unique. Yeah, really quirky little thing.
Influenced a ton of people. I know Trent Reznor was big time into the Devo.
I'm not surprised at that at all.
Kate Bush. If this was more British oriented,
she'd be in already. Yeah.
But being an American Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I don't think Kate's probably ever going to get in.
She had a couple of songs on MTV back in the day, and she'd done work with, I believe, Peter Gabriel, she was never really out there in the forefront. Great singer, and like you said,
great voice, fabulous voice.
Really popular in Britain, but not so much here. So that's probably not going to be happening.
That's probably going to happen to her. Rage Against the Machine. This is their third consecutive, 4 out of the last 5 years, something like that, being nominated. And just again, there's several bands that just seem to just always be right, getting nominated and never, always a bridesmaid, never the bride kind of thing. And
well, I'm glad
Rage Against the Machine.
I'm glad they don't get in.
Yeah,
quite honest. I'm sorry. I want a band with a singer. That just ticks me off so much because they've got such an extraordinary guitarist. With he plays a Strat. Sure. I got a couple of Strats. He plays Strats, and he gets the most out of it. His tone is unbelievable. Unbelievable. Right. And some of the music's just so great. But then I got to listen to that jerk off hollering at me. Right. Shut up and sing.
Yeah.
God, it just dry. I'm just not into that Zach, whoever the heck he is at all.
Zach De La Rocha,
not into that kind of crap at all. Sing or shut up,
That's probably right about where they should be. Just a multiple nominee, just kind of borderline, but not quite over the fence. That's probably about where they should be, quite honestly.
Yeah.
Next up is another multiple nominee, Dionne Warwick. And again, that's probably where she should be as well. I don't see her being in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Easy. That's
among the R&B artists of her time. She's way down the list to me.
Yeah,
and, I just
had some good hits with Burt Bacharach back in the day, but not rock and roll. I don't know. There we go again.
I think it was just the strength of those Burt Bacharach songs too. That
Yeah.
Another hip hop artist, Tribe Called Quest. To be honest, not real familiar with them. I'm not a big hip hop guy. Know that they've been around for a long time, but really don't know too much about them, so really can't comment either way.
All right.
And then we'll skip over a couple here. We're gonna save them for last. Another one didn't get in was Beck. This is his first year of eligibility, and I don't see him as a first year guy. So I don't see him.
Maybe eventually he had some quirky.
Yeah, he's definitely had some impact, and there's definitely he's had his impact on music over the last 20-25 years. But to be in the first year, I don't see him as that type of guy.
Mm-hmm.
Another one, Fela Kuti. Fela Kuti is a Nigerian artist, and not bad. And dude can jam for sure. But has anybody heard of him? Nobody's heard of him.
Never heard of him, no.
And last year he was very high in the fan voting, and then this year he was dead last. So I think the votes he may have received last year may have been more due to the political climate at the time than
that would make sense.
Merit. But nonetheless, that's another guy. Just get him nominated, show a little respect, and now he
move on.
we'll move on to somebody else.
Yeah.
The last two, I feel these are two, they've been nominated multiple times. But again, always a bridesmaid, never the bride. And it's the New York Dolls and the MC5.
Oh, yeah. No, it's time.
It's time for
It's
both
time.
of them.
My gosh, it's way past time.
Yeah.
Talk about your pure rock and roll bands.
I mean, there's only one left from each of those bands. I mean, let's do it at least while one of them can go up there and then receive the award.
Yeah. So yeah, very much deserved, both of them. Both, just groundbreakers.
Yeah.
Hardcore, what rock and roll means, the personification of rock and roll in those two bands. So and they very well deserve it. Yeah.
The fact that they've been nominated multiple times, perhaps this thing with Judas Priest, maybe that's an omen of things to come. That's going to be it's going to be a kind of a back door that they can start letting a lot of people in. But
absolutely, it's time. Yeah, come on.
Remains to be seen.
Okay.
So other than that, I like to go over maybe a few that I think have been snubbed over the years.
Okay, make it quick, my man.
Matter of fact, I'm just gonna make it easy for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And here's who they should let in next year. Okay, under the performer category, MC5 New York Dolls, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Graham Parsons, country rock pioneer.
Yeah. Right. Yep.
Jim Croce.
Oh yeah. Oh man, are you kidding me?
Long overdue.
Oh yeah. Jeez.
Iron Maiden. Should be in
without a doubt.
And why? I thought the Smashing Pumpkins would be at least nominated by now. I really like the Pumpkins. I know not everybody's taste, but
they're not really my taste, but more,
And lastly, on the performance category, I'd like to see the LA punk scene at least represented in the Rock and Roll Fame. That would probably be easy for me to say. Probably be best by Black Flag.
Black Flag, he beat me too. That's what I was thinking.
They would probably be the best representative of that scene.
Yep.
And then in the musical excellence category, I'm gonna go John Coltrane. I know he's not rock and roll, but he's had an influence on rock and roll. And talk about musical excellence. I mean, doesn't get any better than that.
Here.
And under the early influence category, there's a lot of old blues guys that still haven't gotten in yet. Lightning Hopkins comes to mind is probably the one that probably needs to get in next. And also Link Ray. Link Ray is the father. Yeah. Link Ray is the father of the power chord. And Jimmy Page owes a lot to him, and he admits it, and a lot of guitarists do. So he had an instrumental that was banned.
No, there you go. You beat me to that there too. Yeah, an instrumental is banned because it's so evil. That's when you know you're doing something right.
Yeah. He had the power chord in the song Rumble, and you've all heard it. You check it out, Rumble. Yep. And it's just the tone. It's just
nasty.
That's nasty to get banned just on an instrumental. So,
oh well, hey, Doc, that was a good run, man. Good times. Looks like Mickey's counting down, so we're gonna have to call it a day. We'll see you in another week or so for sure. Got over a little sickness this week. Boy, oh boy. Enough of this. Summer's here, so enough of all this sickness, and let's just rock and roll all summer long. So thanks again, Doc.
Absolutely.
Glad
Murph.
seeing you, glad talking to you. And we will see you folks next week. And be sure to subscribe. Yes, be sure to subscribe and comment if you wish. And we will talk to you later.
Have a great rock and roll filled week, everybody.